Coming up on the Sports Desk, one of the South Bay's best finishes up a legendary career. Reporter Scott Cook will have more on the man that has patrolled Elko's sidelines for the last 31 years. Plus, it's the playoffs. I'll get you CIF volleyball highlights, CIF football highlights, and plenty more. Oh yeah, it's a jam-packed Sports Desk coming at you right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the fall playoffs edition of the Sports Desk. I'm your host, Collin Kushner. For those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome to the kingdom of Boom Sauce Land. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you will soon enough. Don't forget to hit me up on Twitter with pics and video showing your school spirit. I'll get you right here on the show. The Detroit Lions recently won their second game of the season against the Cheeseheads. It's their first win at Lambeau since '91. That's so embarrassing. No joke. If I was at that game, I totally would have rushed the field. Part of me is stoked about the win, but the realistic part of me is like, 24 years without a win in Green Bay? That's insane. And the reality of it all is that the Lions still aren't good. Anyways, over in JUCO land, the Elko football squad geared up for their final game of 2015, but it wasn't just any season finale. The Warriors saying farewell to head coach John Featherstone, who was calling it a career after 31 years as the leader of the football program. Let's not forget the Warriors have been on that 1-win, 2-loss roller coaster at Camino land. If the pattern is to repeat itself, that means it's that point in the cycle where Elko grabs a win for the first time since October the 24th. The Warriors attempting to give Feather a big dub going out partay before retiring against the LBC like Snoop, DOGG Vikes, a team they haven't had any luck against since 2013. Coach getting honored at halftime. Go Feather, showing off his dance moves, taking some pictures. He's just having a good old time. And then, of course, why not take a picture with my beautiful family as well? Look at the Featherstone family. Smiles and everything like that. What a pick. Let's pick it up to the fourth quarter. Elko down 38-23. Vikes quarterback Jack Lowry fumbles the football. Tanyela Loloheha recovers in the end zone. The Warriors down by 8. Next, Warriors offensive possession, 1st and 10 from the Long Beach 44, under 3 to go. George Hernandez using his legs takes off. It's a 24-yard gain. Coach Featherstone, he's jacked up as he should be. Timeout. Elko. Very next play, George Hernandez. Hernandez out of the gun. He looks, fires, DeJuan Parham, touchdown. It's 38-36 it's 38-36 Long Beach still on top. Ensuing 2-point conversion. Hernandez looks to Isaac Cox. Incomplete. Elko down by 2. Onside kick is going to be recovered by the Vikes, but the Elko D on point. They're going to stop the run here, and Long Beach is forced to punt. They're down by 2 still. Ensuing drive for George Hernandez and co. 29 seconds left from their own 8. Hernandez looks, rolls out, eludes the pressure, finds DeJuan Parham again. That's a 32-yard gain to about the 40. Very next play, Hernandez spikes the ball to stop the clock, and following play now 2nd and 10 from the 40. George Hernandez, he's looking, escapes the pressure out of the pocket, doing what he does best, finds Stevie Williams, 30-yard gain to the 30, out of bounds, 9.9 seconds left. Feather calls for the field goal unit. Nathan Hirely for the win! Oh, and it's just short. The Vikes hang on to spoil Feather's last game as head coach, 38-36. Elko's woes against the Snoop DOGG Vikes continues. That's now 2 straight losses to coach Brett Peabody and co. The Warriors missed the playoffs for the 4th straight year. And to make matters even worse, Elko hasn't grabbed back-to-back dubs in over 2 years. Now, when you think of the most successful coaches in NCAA football history by wins, you probably think of the late Joe Paterno, Paul Bear Bryant, and Bobby Bowden. Yes, all of them are coaching legends, but none have more wins than John Gagliardi. He is the winningest coach in college football history. Gagliardi spent 6 decades as the head coach of a little Division III private school called St. John's in good old central Minnesota. He compiled 465 wins, 56 more than Joe Pa had at Penn State. Now, right here in the South Bay, we have our own football coaching legend. His name is, of course, John Featherstone. He's been a staple of Elko college football for the last 31 years. While the list of achievements as the king of Elko football just goes on and on, more importantly, it's been Feather's guidance over the years to help young men develop into successful student athletes. Reporter Scott Cook has more.
Dozens of former players and coaches came out to El Camino College's final football game of the season on Saturday night at Redondo Union High School. The reason for doing so? To honor the man who has been at the helm of Warriors football for the past 31 seasons.
Coach Featherstone.
In his time as head coach at El Camino College, John Featherstone has led the Warriors to 11 conference championships, 2 state championships, and even a national championship. But his coaching extends way beyond the gridiron. Featherstone is best known for the guidance and compassion he shows his players. His influence in the community is far-reaching.
When I came here, that's all I kept hearing about, Coach Featherstone this, Coach Featherstone that. I didn't know nothing about the guy until half season, until I knew who he really was, and that's when my respect started coming in real hard, and I'm like, I want to play for this coach. I'm going to put in work for this coach, everything, the whole nine.
El Camino honored Featherstone at halftime with the ceremony, and following the post-game handshakes, he was carried off the field by his players.
It's been over 30 years and it seems like 30 days. That's how much I love my job, okay? I love coaching, I love teaching, I love taking young men that maybe struggle a little bit academically or things aren't going right in their life, and we teach them a lot of important skills. And we slowly but surely see our kids start to grow up and become men, and that's the most important thing.
Despite retiring as head coach, Featherstone promises he'll still be a familiar face around El Camino. He says he'll always be part of the Warriors family, and his players couldn't be happier to hear that. From Redondo Union High School, I'm Scott Cook with the Sports Desk.
Thanks for that story, Scott. Here's a quick rundown of some of John Featherstone's accomplishments over the last 3 decades as head coach. He won 2 state championships, appeared in 19 bowl games, had 21 nationally ranked finishes, and was inducted into the El Camino College Athletic Hall of Fame in 2005. He has the highest winning percentage of any active coach in the southern section of California, which includes 37 community colleges from Bakersfield to San Diego. Wow, what a career. He touched so many lives and helped guide so many young men to excellence in the classroom and on the football field. I always enjoyed chatting with Coach Featherstone, whether it was after a game or catching him on the sideline scouting at one of the Torrance high schools. It was always a pleasure and an honor to chat with him. Hey now, Coach Featherstone isn't the only one in his family that coaches. His daughter Keegan just so happens to be the girls' volleyball head coach at Bishop Montgomery. I'm sure you all knew that, right? Under Coach Keegan Featherstone, the Black and Gold's volleyball squad has made the playoffs in each of her 3 seasons as head coach. In her first 2 years, the Knights made it to the second round of the Southern Section playoffs and lost. This year, the Knights locked up their second straight Delray League banner with hopes of making a deep push in this year's Southern Section playoffs. Bishop Montgomery swept Peninsula in last year's CIF first round matchup. Let's pick it up in set 3. The Lancers up 2-0. Joselle Costa, ace, 15-13 Knights. Very next play, Jillian Miles, we talked about her a couple shows ago. Boom sauce, what a kill. Bishop up by 3, looking good midway through the third. A little later on though, 24-all. This is where the Lancers are gonna start to take over from here. This is gonna be a point for the red squad off the Bishop Montgomery player. Next play, dug by the red squad. Madison Reynolds is gonna try and keep it, but doink into the netting. You can't do that. Lancers point. They take set 3, 26-4 to sweep the Knights. It's Bishop Montgomery's first loss in the first round of the CIF Southern Section playoffs under head coach Keegan Featherstone. The question most of you are probably thinking right now is, what are the odds that host Collin Kushner says boom sauce more than once throughout the show? The answer is yes. West Girls Volleyball has accomplished something they have only done twice since 2010. Make it to the CIF Southern Section playoffs. Both of those trips, last year and this year. South Pasadena swept the Warriors in last year's first-round match, 3-0. The girls get jacked up. Let's pick it up in the first set. West down by 2. Cassie Laviaga, that's a kill. Point for the Warriors. A few plays later, West down by a point. Lena Nygren's like, hey, let me get in on the party too, off a couple South Pasadena players. Point for West. We're all knotted at 5. Middle of the first set, West down by a point again. Cassie Laviaga, that's a kill, picking up what she did a couple plays earlier. West ties it up once again, but Westridge takes over. They go on to take set 1, 25-19, and the next 2 for the sweep of the Warriors. It's now the Warriors' second season in a row falling in the first round of the playoffs. The last time West has gone further than round 1. Try 2009. You know what else happened that year? The Pittsburgh Penguins beat my beloved Detroit Red Wings in the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, that wasn't a pretty sight in the Kushner household. Bishop and West swept in the first round, and the North Saxons can't break the cycle either. Monrovia brings out the brooms in a quick ABC. It's easy as 1-2-3 sets to none dub to connect the Jackson 5 for that. It's the first time since 2010 the Saxons have lost in the first round of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. Frankie Valli in the fourth season saying, bye-bye, baby, bye-bye. Well, that's kind of what happened to 3 of the Torrance volleyball squads. Bishop gets swept, West gets swept, North, well, you guessed it, they get swept too. That just leaves the South Spartans. South back in the playoffs again. I know, it's a shocker, right? The Spartans have kind of been like the New England Patriots in the world of girls volleyball. Super dominant over the years. Don't worry, no deflating volleyballs here. But seriously, South has been the most consistent team out of all the Torrance schools. They haven't missed the playoffs since 2005, and they captured the program's second CIF Southern Section title just last year. The Spartans looking to blaze another path to their second CIF Southern Section crown in a row. South hasn't lost a first-round CIF match since 2008. That was against Beckman and good old Irvine. Look at those green Gatorade to match with the green jerseys. Let's pick it up in the first set. No score. Kristen Fritchie and Renee Bryden team up for the block. Point goes to South. A few minutes later, Spartans up 7-6. Going to play by Gina Cortesi. Keeps the ball in play, but it's going to be a point for Poly Tech. We're all tied at 7. Later in the first, all tied at 15. Kristen Fritchie, ace. South up by a point, and they go on to take set 1, 25-20. To the second set, all knotted at 10. Renee Bryden and Bailey Oliver team up for a block. South back on top. They're up 11-10. Later on in the second, Spartans up by 5. Hadley Clegg and Bailey Oliver team up. So it's Bailey Oliver just with one of her other teammates. South goes up 19-13 and takes set 2, 25-14, and the third for the sweep of the Panthers. In driver's ed, there's this saying that goes, 1, 2, 3, no ticket for me. I guess that kind of works in sports. In round numero dos, pretty similar results. The green squad takes down Whittier Christian 3-1, which means South is going back to the CIF Division II AA quarterfinals. South taking on Esperanza. The Spartans haven't lost in the CIF Southern Section quarterfinals since 2010. Of course, you got your green Gatorade, and they're going to give some handshakes before. You got to love the sportsmanship in volleyball. Let's pick it up in the first set. 1-0 South. Hadley Clegg. She's going to do the old two-handed putback. It's a basketball move. South up 2-0 early. Later in the first, 10-8 South still up. Gina Cortesi kill off a couple Esperanza players. South up by 3. They go on to take set 1, 25-17. Fast forward to set 4. South up 2-1. Renee Bryden. Spartans down by 2. Later in the fourth, South starts to take over from here. Match point for South now. Carly Eastley. Kill! South takes set 4, 25-16, and the dub over Esperanza. 3-1. Back to the semis. What? We going back to the semis? What? That means South is just one dub away from another trip to the CIF Division II AA Finals. The Bad Boys era of Pistons basketball brought the city of Detroit back-to-back NBA titles during the 88-89 and 89-90 seasons. Let's just say winning back-to-back titles is something difficult to do in any sport. If the South Spartans girls tennis squad The South Spartans girls tennis squad, just like those 88-89 Pistons, captured their first ever CIF championship just last year. This season, the girls look to take a page out of the bad boy Pistons era. Not their physical play, but that whole winning back-to-back titles thing. Different year, same result. South comes up with its second straight CIF Southern Section Division IV crown and their second win in a row over Riverside Poly in the finals. Congrats again to the Spartan girls on a back-to-back CIF Southern Section titles. Boom sauce! Meanwhile, over at Torrance High, Fortadas signed their national letters of intent to play their respective sport at the next level. Tartar softballers Jadar Selanian, Marissa Moreno, and Caitlin Sista Christian all signed on to play college softball next year. Girls golf stud Nino Navia also signed her NLI. She is taking her golf talents to Gonzaga. Jadar Selanian is heading up to Sac State. Caitlin's sister Christian is going East Coast on us to Sacred Heart. And finally, Marissa Moreno is driving down south to SDSU. Go Aztecs. Let's hear from Jade, Caitlin, and Marissa about signing their national letters of intent.
Signing today made it like almost like a realistic dream. Like everything's coming together and I'm just that much closer to being a collegiate athlete. Getting ready this morning, I was actually nervous, and then walking down the stairs, I was nervous, and then signing the paper, it felt right, so I'm glad.
I've been waiting for this day for a really long time. Ever since I was young and started playing, I knew I wanted to play softball in college, and so just today being able to sign this, it's just like my dream is coming true, and it's pretty unbelievable. It's amazing.
It means a lot to me because now I know all my hard work has paid off, and I don't know, it just feels unreal.
But hey, those weren't the only Torrance athletes who signed their national letters of intent. We have 4 Saxon softballers, Desiree Moreno, Alyssa Loza, who is heading to ASU, Go Devils, Shawnee Baker, and Alexis Sargent. From South's volleyball squad, outside hitter Carly Eastley. She had that kill in that highlight. And from West, softballer Mia Wyatt. Congrats again to everyone who recently signed their national letters of intent. Now that's boom sauce. Hold up. Check out this message from former NFL coach Jim Mora Sr.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Playoffs? I had to loop that a couple times for all of you. Cracks me up every time. The playoffs? Steph Curry has been dropping dimes for the Golden State Warriors, and Mika Juarez has been running over everybody in sight for the North Saxons. Pretty sure both teams aren't complaining about having either of those guys on their teams. The Saxons have been hashtag killing it all year long, except for their Week 0 loss to Redondo and their Civil War loss to end the regular season against South. It's North's 4th straight year in the playoffs, but the last 2 years, they haven't been able to make it past the first round. The Saxons taking on an Agora squad that finished up their regular season 1-9. Yeah, wish I was kidding. Averaged up, the Saxons are allowing just under 40 points in their last 2 first-round playoff losses. The boys coming through the sign, or whatever you want to call it. First quarter, 2nd and 3 from the 24. Mika Juarez doing what he does best, rolls out of the pocket. Superman dive, touchdown, 7-0 North. North's punting here. Special teams was getting it done all evening for the Saxons. Nico Harrow is going to come up with this for North. Ensuing drive for the Saxons. 2nd and 10 from the 24. Mika Juarez, well, he's running again. That's no surprise. He's going to get stopped just short. Very next play, though, Juarez punches it in for the TD. 14-0 North. Ensuing North kickoff. Like I said, the special teams is getting it done. Once again, it's going to go off one of the Agora players and recovered by Mario Simpson. North ball. Ensuing drive, 1st and 10 to the 28. Mika Juarez, he's like, I've been running so much during this game, I'm just going to run a couple steps to my left and then find Justin Allman. He gets taken down around the 15-yard line. A few plays later, can you guess what's going to happen next? Oh, hey there! Mika Juarez, that's a touchdown. XP no good. North's up 20-0 at the end of the first quarter. Mika Juarez a part of all 3, and they don't look back. 48-14 is your final. Coach Croce and co jump all over the charges early, and yeah, that's all she wrote. The Saxon dub marks the first time since 2012, North will advance past the first round of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. That year, they just so happened to go to the CIF Southern Section Championship game where they lost to Nordhoff. The distance is just a little over 1 mile. That's all that separates West High and Redondo Union. Both schools close in distance, and let's just say they also have a very close relationship. Not the kind that involves sitting down and having a Thanksgiving dinner together. The last meeting between these two back in September, West lost. It was the Warriors' first regular season loss since 2013, and I know it was also another first. West went on to lose their next 2 games, which put them in their first 3-game spiral in 3 years. Before West made the switch to the Pioneer League, they're members of the Bay League. So taking the 5-minute, or if you want to walk, 25-minute jaunt to play the Seahawks, it's not anything new for West. Since 2010, the Warriors have only won 2 of their last 6 meetings with Redondo Union. Let's pick it up in the first quarter. The very first play of the game, Jamar Jefferson. He gets through in. Yep, Jamar, all he sees is, I guess you could say daylight, but it's night out, so he just sees the beautiful night sky in front of him. That's a touchdown. Redondo takes a quick 7-0 lead. A few minutes later, West is going to respond. The quarterback, Drake Peabody, Mr. Peabody, he runs it in for the touchdown. We're all tied up at 7. To the second quarter, same score. Drake Peabody again. He's like, well, I didn't do enough legs this week, so I'll just take it in myself. 14-7, West up. A little later on in the second, the Warriors still up by a touchdown. Redondo quarterback Jacob Silvera here. He's looking. He's like, hey, any of my receivers are going to be open? But instead he finds the guy in the white jersey. Wrong guy. Denver Silver Lake, that's a pick. Can it be a pick? 6, yes it is. That's a touchdown. West taking control. It's 21-7, but the wheels fall off from there. Redondo responds. They score 28 unanswered to down West 35-28. So Redondo gets the best of West once again this year. That's now 2 straight losses at the hands of the Red Squad. It's now just the second time since 2009 that Coach Holt and company have lost in the first round of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. DJ Collin. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind. I can never get enough. And every time I step in the building, everybody hands go up. Before DJ Collin was DJ Collin, he went by Khalid Muhammad Khalid. In 1983, he was just 8 years old, which also happened to be the last time the Bishop Montgomery football squad won a CIF playoff game. Yeah, it's been 32 years. In Bishop's last 5 playoff appearances, they have given up at least 42 points per game in 4 of them. The old coin flipping. Yeah, let's go through the paper thing held by the cheerleaders. Yeah, woo, woo. Let's pick it up in the first quarter. Maranatha up 7-3. Brendan Marafino hits Bernardo Mofa. Knights take the lead 10-7. Fast forward to the third. The Minutemen back on top. Brendan Marafino, well, he's going to do something that he just did. He's looking. Where's Amofa? Where's Amofa? There he is! Amofa gets the ball, and yep, that's a touchdown. Bishop down 17-16, ensuing XP to tie the games. Looks like a little miscommunication here, and that's going to come up just short. No good. Remember this play, everybody. This is going to come back and haunt the Knights. Bishop's down by a point, still to the fourth. Same score, final minutes. Brendan Marafino under pressure, rolling, pick. Takes out our cam op, and yeah, that's not going to be good for the Knights. And then 10 seconds to go. This one looks like it's over, but Bishop blocks the punt with 4 seconds on the clock. Mateo Fabri, 49-yarder. No! They can't do it. Bishop falls to the Minutemen, 17-16. That botched XP was the difference maker in this one. I told you not to forget that play during the highlight. The streak, unfortunately, continues. 32 years and counting for the Knights. They're still searching for their first round playoff mojo. It's also Bishop's first loss since the black and gold ran into the Tasmanian Devil and El Segundo. Now, including Bishop's trip to the CIF Finals back in '83, the Knights have been to the playoffs just 8 times in the last 32 years. 6 of those trips have come in the last 6 years under current head coach Ed Hotchkiss. After that 83 season, the Knights went through 6 different coaches, then 7 years of Arnold Ale before he helped the Knights reach the playoffs in 2008. From there, it's been the Ed Hotchkiss show. You can call me Mr. Boom Sauce, yo history professor. All right, everybody, when we come back, just kidding, no breaks today. Let me take a breather first. Check out a message from Hamoon, Rubin, and the rest of the NT Blue Crew.
You're watching the Sports Desk with Collin Kushner. Boom Sauce! Woo!
A big sauce thank you to Hamoon, Rubin, and the rest of the NT Blue Crew. You all are awesome. Don't forget to check out our Instagram page. That's the Sports Desk TV for cool pics, video, and a wild behind-the-scenes look at the show. From 2002 to 2010, the Detroit Lions didn't make the playoffs. In 2011, they finally broke through for the first time in 10 seasons. The following year and the year after, they would go on to miss the playoffs. Now, just one season ago, Elko men's soccer did something they haven't done since 1991. Win a conference title. Head coach John Britton was the South Coast Conference Coach of the Year. It was one of the more memorable seasons on the pitch for the Warriors. This season, not so much. The magic just hasn't been there. It's the regular season finale for the men's squad taking on Mount San Antonio College, a team that shut out the Warriors in their first meeting almost 1 month ago. Elko hasn't taken down the Mounties in just over 2 years. The boys getting some shade. It's cooled down, so I don't know how much they really need it. Second half, 1-0, Elko down, 70th minuto. Michael Flores, sick move, tucks that in. Mount San Antonio up 2-0. To the 87th minute, same exact score. Danny Moreno's gonna try some slick moves here. Gets by a couple of Elko defenders, puts it in the open cage. Donuts in the wrong way. Elko falls 3-0. So Elko men's soccer finishes up 2015 4-10-7 overall and 3-5-6 in conference play. Same sport, different gender. Elko's woes against the Mounties continue. They are now 2-7-1 in their last 10 meetings with Mount San Antonio. Dramatic improvements from last season, but the Lady Warriors missed the playoffs once again. All right, everybody, that's going to close the books on another week here on the Sports Desk. As always, we are available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you just feel like saying yo, you can do that as well. That was a Sauce Show. Take it easy, Torrance. We'll catch you next time.